He had a voice like a country song, a lifetime of heartbreak and failed promises in just 4 words. It was a sound like old leather that had been soaked in bourbon or rye.
"This is Carson Mack," he announced.
I explained who I was, hearing his breathing on the other end of the line. "I remember hearing your stuff on the radio back in the day," I continued.
"Yeah, I was all over that for a little while."
He gave a hoarse, world-weary chuckle. "Tonya said you were thinking about a book?"
"I don't know what I'm thinking, really," Carson admitted. "I figured there might be someone at the Rocket who'd have a few ideas."
I tried to be kind. "The only problem is those hits were a long time ago. Most people won't know who you are now."
"I'm trying to do a little more now, and a book would be a good way for people to find out, right?"
"Yeah," I agreed warily, "but a book's only worthwhile if someone wants to publish it."
"I guess. So, you're trying to tell me it's a bullshit idea, huh?"
"I'm saying that a book might not be the easiest place to start. Music's changed in 20 years. All music had, including country. Now it all seemed to be guys in cowboy hats, or girls who looked like truck stop waitresses with a sideline in hooking, and the songs had more to do with pop music than any country stuff I ever knew."
"I know. I listen nowadays and I'm not even sure what's going on."
"Look, Carson," I said, "how about this? Why don't we start off by doing a piece for the Rocket and see how that goes? It's a place to start."
"You sure they want one? I don't want charity."
"I'm sure they'll print it." I hoped they would anyway.
"Okay," he agreed, sounding happier. "You want to come over here and talk to me?"
"I can do that. Whereabouts are you?"
"I got a place on Beach Drive in West Seattle. You know where that is?"
"I do." If he could afford a house down there, he must have written a few hits. It was right on Puget Sound, where the water lapped against the bottom of the gardens. Just the year before, I'd been to see a 1-bedroom house along there, one in need of plenty of TLC before it would even be habitable. The asking price was over $300,000, and yet it had sold in a week. I loved the idea of living by the water, but I knew that it was a dream. I'd never have the money for it.
"Well, I got time tomorrow if you want. How about that?"
I thought for a moment. Dustin would be back from his sales trip tonight. Tomorrow he'd be at home all day writing up his reports. He could take care of Ian for a few hours. In fact, he'd love the chance. "Yeah, that's good," I said. "What time? And what's your house number?" I bathed Ian, settled him in bed, and read him a Beatrix Potter story, watching him drift into sleep. He'd run me ragged all afternoon, crawling here, there, and everywhere, constantly trying to get into places he knew he shouldn't be. I settled down on the couch, exhausted all the way to my core. Still, now I had my reward, a bottle of Henry Weinhardt's with my feet up on the coffee table. I was free until his lordship woke again in the morning. I heard footsteps on the deck, then the lock turn in the sliding glass door by the kitchen, and I stood up slowly with a smile on my face. "Hey," I said as Dustin came in and skidded his briefcase across the floor.
"Hey,"
he answered, hugging me close and kissing me warmly, tasting of diner food and coffee.
"How's he been?"
"Like an angel."
"Any more walking?"
I shook my head. Twice Ian had seemed on the edge of walking. He'd pulled himself up, tried to step, and toppled over. He was on the brink, and we were ready for it. We'd put big rubber bumpers on the corners of tables so he wouldn't tear his head open, locks on all the cabinets, covers to stop him pushing his fingers in the power outlets. We thought we'd covered it all. But already, even before he was toddling, life was proving a constant battle for us as he found new nooks and crannies we'd never ever noticed before. "How was the trip?"
"Not bad," Dustin answered. "At least I-5 was quiet on the way home. Made decent time."
He was a publisher's rep covering the whole Northwest down into Oregon, as far east as Montana, and twice a year up to Alaska.